Welcome to the Deck Dive. Today, we're tackling something really essential if you want your website to get noticed. Search engine optimization, SEO.
Right. And our guide for this is a fantastic resource. Learn SEO with a free roadmap of reliable guides and tools from learningseo.io.
Yeah, it's great because, look, trying to learn SEO can feel like wading through, everything. This roadmap cuts through that noise.
Exactly. It's structured. It takes you step by step from the absolute basics right through to, advanced stuff and even automation.
So our mission here is to pull out the really key parts of this roadmap for you, the listener. We want you to walk away with a solid idea of what SEO involves and, crucially, how you can use this guide to learn it effectively without feeling totally lost.
A clear path through the complexity.
Okay, let's jump in. The roadmap kicks off with SEO fundamentals. What are we talking about here? What's the absolute ground floor?
Well, fundamentally, SEO is all about making your website more visible when people search online. Simple as that, really.
Simple goal, maybe not so simple execution.
Well, yes. The roadmap breaks it down. It says you need to work on your site's technical side, how well it's built for search engines, the actual content on your pages, and backlinks.
Backlinks, those are links from other sites pointing to yours, right? Like little votes of confidence.
Exactly. Votes of confidence is a good way to put it. And the roadmap is clear. The goal of optimizing these things is higher rankings, which should lead to more of the right kind of traffic, and then, hopefully, conversions.
Conversions meaning people actually doing what you want them to do on the site. Buying something, signing up.
Precisely. It's not just about eyeballs, it's about results.
Okay. And within those fundamentals, the roadmap highlights keyword research, content optimization, technical optimization, and link building. Why start there?
Think of it like this. Keyword research is figuring out what people are actually searching for. What terms are they typing into Google?
Okay, understanding demand.
Right. Then content optimization is making sure your content answers those search queries effectively, giving people what they're looking for.
Makes sense.
Technical optimization ensures search engines can actually find, crawl, and understand your site easily. No roadblocks.
Like making sure the doors are open and the lights are on.
Yeah, a good analogy. And link building, going back to that, builds authority and trust. It tells search engines, hey, other reputable sites vouch for this one. These four are really the foundation.
Got it. Foundational pillars. Now, I bet a lot of people listening are wondering, okay, sounds important, but can I realistically learn this stuff myself? What does the roadmap say?
It's actually very encouraging. It says, yes, learning SEO on your own is feasible. And learningseo.io, the site itself, was built specifically for that, to help people self-learn using good, free resources in a logical order.
So it's not just possible, it's kind of the point of this resource.
Absolutely.
But it also stresses that just reading isn't enough, right?
Oh, definitely. That's a key message. You have to apply it. You have to practice. The roadmap really pushes the idea of hands-on testing, even if it's just on a small personal blog or a simple test site.
Right. That's where the real learning happens. Turning theory into practice.
Exactly. That's how you see what actually works.
Okay, so we're sold on the fundamentals and the need to practice. Let's dig into the roadmap's suggested path for beginners. Where do they recommend starting?
So for total beginners, the clear starting point is the SEO basics section.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this covers the real core ideas, like how search engine crawlers work, these little bots that explore the web. It explains things like title tags.
Those are the headlines you see in the search results.
That's them. Crucial. And internal links, how you link between pages on your own site. It also touches on ranking factors, which is a huge topic in itself, and introduces keyword research properly. It's about building that essential vocabulary and understanding.
Laying the groundwork. Okay, basics covered. What's next on the beginner's path?
After the basics, it suggests moving to learn to execute an SEO process.
So moving from individual pieces to the whole puzzle.
Exactly. It's about the bigger picture. How do you actually do SEO? This section covers things like running an SEO audit to see where a site stands, developing a link building strategy, and importantly, monitoring your rankings and traffic.
So it's about strategy and workflow, not just isolated tasks.
Right. Understanding the whole cycle of an SEO campaign.
And then I imagine comes the practical side, tools and actually doing it on a website.
You got it. The next steps are implement with free SEO tools and implement SEO in your CMS.
Free tools are always good.
Definitely. This part points you towards reliable tools that don't cost anything, covering things like checking your on-page optimization or finding keyword ideas.
And the CMS part.
That's super helpful. It gives specific advice depending on what platform your website uses, like WordPress, Shopify, Wix, whatever it might be, because how you implement SEO can differ slightly depending on the system.
That platform-specific guidance sounds incredibly useful. Okay, that covers the beginner path. What about people who get the basics and want to go deeper?
Yeah, the roadmap caters to that too. There's a section called Deepen Your SEO Knowledge.
Okay, what's in there?
This gets into more advanced topics within technical SEO, like site speed or structured data. It covers content strategy in more depth, advanced link building tactics, how to manage SEO projects or teams, and identifying, less obvious opportunities.
So really specializing and refining skills.
Exactly. It's for when you're ready to move beyond the fundamentals into more complex areas.
And I remember seeing sections on specializing even further and automation.
Yes. Specialize within SEO acknowledges that SEO is broad. You might focus on e-commerce SEO or local SEO for local businesses, or maybe international SEO.
Tailoring your skills.
Right. And then automate SEO tasks is quite forward-looking. It introduces using things like Python or SQL scripts to handle repetitive SEO tasks more efficiently.
Wow, okay, so it scales right up to some pretty technical stuff.
It does. It shows the full spectrum.
And of course, SEO changes all the time. How does the roadmap address staying up to date?
Crucial point. There's a section, Keep Up with SEO News, recommending good sources, publications, podcasts, newsletters. It also suggests complement your SEO knowledge. Learning-related skills like Google Analytics or the basics of HTML, CSS.
So continuous learning and broadening your skill set, it really seems comprehensive. But back to the learner's perspective, do you really need to learn every single thing on this map? It looks like a lot.
That's a fair question. Ideally, getting a sense of all the areas gives you the best holistic view. You understand how technical SEO affects content, how links support everything, etc.
So you see how the pieces fit together.
Exactly. Even if you plan to specialize later, knowing the basics across the board is super valuable. But the roadmap does imply that once you have that foundation, you can focus more deeply on the areas most relevant to your goals or interests. You don't necessarily need to become a world expert in absolutely everything.
Okay, that makes sense. Get the overview, then dive deeper where needed. Now, learning any new skill has challenges. The roadmap actually includes advice from experts on common pitfalls. What should learners watch out for?
This part is gold, I think. Jerry White mentions the danger of misinformation or just plain outdated advice. SEO changes, so you have to be critical of sources.
Right. Something that worked 5 years ago might be useless or even harmful now.
Precisely. Then Ahrefs Abouali talks about feeling overwhelmed, especially with the technical side. Her advice: take your time, break it down, ask for help. Don't try to swallow it all at once.
That feeling of overwhelm is so common when learning something complex.
Totally. And Chris Green warns against thinking you can learn it all super fast. He stresses learning the principles behind SEO, not just memorizing tactics and applying things gradually.
Ah, principles over tactics. That sounds smart. Any other big mistakes beginners make?
Yeah, a few others highlighted. Catherine Namoru hammers home the point we touched on earlier. Learning without practicing is ineffective. Get your hands dirty.
Can't stress that enough.
No. Praveen Sharma adds, don't just believe everything you read online. Test things for yourself. See what actually works on your site.
Good advice for anything online, really.
True. Veronica Holler points out that SEO doesn't exist in a vacuum. You need to think about how it integrates with other marketing channels. An item echoes the misinformation point, suggesting communities or forums as places to get more reliable answers.
Joining a community sounds like a great way to filter information and get support. So lots of potential traps, but also ways to avoid them. We mentioned staying updated. The roadmap suggests a specific newsletter.
Yes, it specifically flags the SEO FOMO newsletter. It says it's good for news, guides, jobs, events, a way to keep your finger on the pulse.
Useful resource. And speaking of jobs, if someone does want to pursue SEO professionally,
the roadmap points them to the SEO FOMO job board, which lists current SEO openings globally.
Okay, so it even helps bridge that gap from learning to potentially working in the field. This guide seems incredibly practical. It also includes tips directly from SEO specialists. Any particular nuggets of wisdom that jumped out at you for beginners?
Oh, loads. Mark Johnstone's advice to focus on principles, understand what search engines are trying to do for users, feels fundamental.
Back to those core ideas.
Exactly. And then several people, Jess Joyce, Adam Durant, Chris Roadruck, all strongly recommend building a test site. a sandbox to play in without risking a real business.
Makes total sense. Practice ground.
Yeah. Jerry White and Sophie Brannon emphasize networking and asking questions. Don't be afraid to reach out. The SEO community is generally quite helpful.
That's good to hear.
And a really common theme from people like Nick Wilston, Arnaud Hellemans, Lydia Infante, Ben Burmer. Understand the business goals. SEO should support the business, not just be about rankings for ranking's sake.
Aligning SEO with the why. That seems critical. What else stood out?
Learning to prioritize. Jake Bohal and Plants and SEO mentioned this. You can't do everything at once. Figure out what will have the biggest impact.
Good practical advice.
John Jackson had a nice phrase. Build for users, but with Google in mind. Finding that balance. Gianna Brachetti-Truscawa warns against analysis paralysis. Focus on getting tasks done, not just looking at data forever.
I know that feeling.
Right. Michelle Bourbonniere says, don't chase every shiny new tool. Focus on the fundamentals. Roxana Stingu reminds us it's okay to say, I don't know, and ask for help. And Andrew Charlton's advice, keep it simple, especially at the start.
Wow, that's a ton of condensed wisdom, really practical stuff. Okay, so let's try to boil this down. As we wrap up this deep dive on the learningseo.io roadmap, what are the absolute key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the main thing is SEO is complex, yes, but it is learnable. And using a structured, reliable guide like this roadmap makes it much, much more manageable.
Right, it provides that structure.
Yeah. Start with the fundamentals, really understand them. Then, crucially, practice. Implement what you learn. And finally, commit to staying updated because this field doesn't stand still.
Absolutely. And listeners should remember, building real SEO skill takes time and consistent effort. This roadmap isn't magic, but it's an excellent guide, pointing you to reliable info and helping you avoid common pitfalls.
Couldn't agree more. It's a shortcut to quality information, not necessarily a shortcut to expertise itself. That still requires work.
So a final thought for you listening, look at the areas outlined in the roadmap: keyword research, technical stuff, content, links, the process itself. Which part initially grabs your interest the most? Maybe start your learning journey there with that spark of curiosity.
Good idea. And just keep that core principle in mind. Apply what you learn. Get hands-on. That's how you'll truly start to understand and master SEO.